I'm Scarum, and I'm taking over Jeremy's place on the podcast.
Don't mind me, I'm just sharpening a sword over here.
I just remembered I have a very important thing to do. I'm gonna go bye.
Ah!
All right, and I'm all by myself now. You might remember me from Triss, where every character, including the villains, was better than me.
Scare him? I may be Papa Abbott, but you better run.
Hang on, I'm not done eating all your food.
Kill it! Kill it with fire!
All right, I beat him. All right, I'm back.
Whew. Okay, I can come back now.
Oh, my heart can't take any more of this. Oh.
Oh, welcome back, everyone, to Recorder on the Wall, where we are going through every Redwall book and cartoon and bad graphic novel and probably cookbook and plenty of other things as well, and fan fictions. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Pete.
I'm
And
Katie.
no, I don't need a lawyer for whatever happened to scare him. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm Matthias. I'm just going to go hide in the corner where it's safe.
You know, you can't spell Scarum without scum.
Ooh.
Or Scar,
Yeah.
which is what just happened to my psyche. Thank you.
I feel ashamed that it took me like 5 episodes to think that one up, too.
Oh well.
Yep.
But
we're not
thankfully,
talking
Scarum
about...
is not. Yeah, he's not in this book.
Yep, he's not in this book, thank God. Instead, we are covering Book 2 of Loamhedge, and it's If Only They Were Back Here at Redwall.
And I'm literally realizing I titled the common doc Loamhedge.
You
know?
did.
Well, Horty's pretty down on the lamb, so...
Oh, yeah.
I bet Pete's feeling kind of sheepish right now.
Ding.
I'm sorry, that was just a dyed-in-the-wool joke.
Ding.
That was a bad joke.
Dang! So when we left off, we had our party going out to go find Loamhedge Abbey, and they were following the directions and literal map that it would presume Matthias and his companions made at the end of Manameo.
Yep.
And with the asterisk, see Manameo.
Right.
Yep.
We had 2 vermin parties running around. We had, the one that the Badger's going to want to ultra murder.
And we had the rejected SNL members.
Oh my God, Bad Red. No, buddy, you're red because you are like this. You are just that teenager with a cracking voice.
My very first note for chapter 16 was, Bad Red, you're a real dingus.
Yeah.
So we're gonna quickly find out why, and it literally begins with, "Hey, we found the Abbey, and we're gonna let him see us because we're stupid."
Right.
I feel like that's the answer to every single action this group takes. Why is it doing that? Because they're stupid.
No,
Pretty much.
the Redwall is pretty much straight up they like, hey, so there's vermin out there. We've seen them, and we're only counting about 8. So, okay, let's activate we all know the procedures here. Let's make sure the wall gates are reinforced, and Tibbins are taken inside to be safe.
Yep.
Right.
Lock gate in case of vermin attack.
But only the front gate, apparently.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. They did lock the other gate, but sheer stupidity breaks it.
Yes.
We'll get to that. I take issue with 1 or 2 of those bits of that.
I do like when they're outside and still trying to break in, and Flinky sings the song about keeping their heads down.
Yes.
Yes.
That was really creative. I like that.
Song count. It is
Oh my
less
God.
than last time. Between songs and poems, there are about 11.
God, there was one chapter that had like 2 of them, and they were both like a page each.
Yeah, this is I think this book has the most songs. I didn't really count the poems because they're not as easy to count for me because the audiobook has all the songs like with music and everything. But yeah, I did count 30 in this entire book.
That's a lot.
We also see how much respect that Bad Red's crew has for him because when they
Yeah.
say, "Hey, if he orders us to charge, we're not. We're going to be going the other way."
Yeah, if he orders us to charge, we will in the opposite direction.
Right.
Hey guys, I mean, you could just do a vote of no confidence, and then you'll probably have to kill him. But
Well, I did comment. I was like, I'm wondering if the only reason why the group doesn't take out Bad Red, which really wouldn't be hard, is that no one else wants to be in the I'm 2 seconds from retirement leader position.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, the leader, whoever is the leader of this group does not last very long.
and they point. Bad Red's like, "Okay, well, try to look like a gang of killers. Wave your weapons and snarl." And everyone's just like, we're in the midst of the night. Can we figure out a plan here? We there's 8 of us. Oh yeah, we should probably make a plan.
Yeah, there's 8 of us and maybe one half a brain between all of us.
I think Flinky is cleverer than the rest of them, at least.
Definitely.
I think Flinky is my favorite Vermin lieutenant in the series.
Yeah.
He doesn't crave power. He doesn't want treasure. All he wants is an easy life and to not be harangued by the boss, whomever that might be. So,
Yes.
I mean, if I had to be a Redwall Vermin, I'd want to be Flinky.
Yeah, he's mostly harmless. He doesn't really want to fight either. He's just like, I just want to chill in the shade and eat.
I just want to lie on the bank of a river and, eat an apple or something.
Yep.
All he wants to do is have some fun.
I do love the comment when it does go to the Redwallers and they're like, well, there's only about 8 of them and there's a fire in the ditch. What do you think they're doing? Foremost like, well, you expect they're cooking me supper. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, that's just the difference. Like with Clooney, they're building a fire. They're probably going to try and burn their way through the door. With these guys, they're probably just cooking.
Yep.
Yeah,
and it's just Foremost just like, well, what do you think they're doing?
It's not a diversion. It's not, planning to try to burn us out. No, they're eating.
I don't think Bad Red knows how to spell the word plan.
No.
Yeah. And though we do get a new dynamic where there are absolutely no warriors at Redwall right now. Like there's not even like a badger mother who is at least like intimidating like some of the other ones were. Like, let's be fair. In Mary of Redwall, Melis was mostly harmless. Like she wasn't a warrior, but if you hurt the kid, she would probably rip you in half. Like Alma
badgers.
or like
Just in
Alma
general.
in Pearls of Luthra was pretty mellow and easygoing. But like there's no like big intimidating figure. There's no otter in their prime like Thrug or like a warrior hare. Toran seems to be the most active one there, and even he's not really in his prime or anything anymore.
He can be tough though.
Yes, and he doesn't take any guff from the Vermin. Like I like how he's just taking charge, and I have a feeling that's like we see like how Bragoon is this, wild, wants to roam around, very tough. Like we can kind of see some of that in Torin.
But his surname is also Widegirth, so I don't expect that he's going through an active regimen every single day.
No, I don't know if... but it is good to see that he's at least acting tough and trying to keep the mood up and be like, no, we can do this. We can take them. I'll take charge. I like that.
Mm-hmm. And I like how the abbot and the elders treat even a small band of vermin as a threat. I mean, they take it seriously, but not necessarily as a serious threat. The vermin can be dangerous, but not necessarily that they will be dangerous.
Yeah.
Yet.
They're being cautious.
Yes.
That just leads us to our other vermin crew, Rakavol, and he's consulting his own seer, their team medic, Werga.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Werga, and she's just a quote wrinklet toothless old sea rat, and I'm not sure she's a legit seer. I think based on what we're told on how she basically just keeps her eye on the entire crew, especially the boss, and just is smart enough to listen and put things together. She might be on the charlatan end of the series.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Me too.
Absolutely.
I think she's very shrewd and observant and very perceptive, but yeah, that's not the same as actually having mystical powers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wurga is partway between the tropes of the old crone and beware the quiet ones.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
And she basically outright, she's expecting Ragabal to come see her, and he does. And he's just like, yeah, I keep seeing the badger in my dreams. I thought we killed him.
And she does at least you can tell that she's at least smart. Like she has a good plan of, here, my 3 sons who are no warriors, but they're good assassins. They're very quiet and they can poison the heck out of people. So
do you have names for them? Well, I didn't ever bother to learn them.
Is this more on number 1? Put more on number 2 on the phone.
Okay, they are Mole, Larry, and Curly. And that's what we're calling from here on out.
Oh, wise guy.
I don't know if they even have enough personality to put them in that. But
I was going to say, take something from Raggedy Tam and go 1 rat, 2 rat, 3 rat.
Yes.
And
that will make sense, Pete, when we get to the next book.
Yeah, I'm sure. But for my purposes, I called them Mole, Larry, and Curly.
There you go.
And we're gonna see how well things go for them.
Virga's plan. She's like, well, you need to kill the badger, and since you're not going to do it yourself, here I have these super deadly thorns I've dipped in poisons from across the sea, and you're going to take my 3 idiot sons. Okay, now I'm thinking Mom and Futurama, but
I was just about to say, quiet you.
You're going to take my 3 idiot sons, and they may not be much of straight up normal fighters, but they are assassins.
We're badger exterminators.
Because, every time people send assassins after a badger, it works flawlessly. Think about Outcast of Redwall and the Wraith. Like, how successful was that? It was just flawless execution.
I literally put, Raga, this assassinate the badger with poison shtick was tried before. Why don't you ask Farago how it went for him? Or better yet, ask Klitsch.
Or Swart.
Yep. Or what was the name of the poisoner? Was it Farran? Farran. Why don't you ask Farran, who was beaten to a pulp and had all his poison shoved down his throat by Earthstripe?
So she's just like, okay, just make sure my sons are supervised with a tracker, and they'll get the job done.
We get Jib Snout, which that has to be a nickname.
Yeah, I would think so. Hey?
I feel like some of the vermin names are just nicknames that they've now just been stuck with for life.
I mean, a jib is a type of sail, so that could be part of it.
Yep.
And I mean, they are sea rats, so...
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah. But let me just give a quick RIP Jib Snout just to be safe.
Yeah, before he leaves, they're like, hey, Jib Snout, did you pay into your company insurance? Yeah, why? No reason.
Do you have all the contact information for your next of kin? So we go to chapter 17 with...
Before we go there,
mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's a good place to do it. I just want to do it before it gets out of the way. Mm-hmm. At the beginning of book 2, there's just a picture underneath where it says, if only they were back here at Redwall, of 3 Redwallers with improvised weapons on the wall top.
Yep.
Just looking at that picture, that is seared into my mind as the quintessential, all the Abbey dwellers are grabbing whatever comes to, hand, paw, however you want to put it.
One of them is literally holding a spoon.
Yeah, spoon,
Well,
a
I mean,
window pole, and a knife tied to the end of a staff.
you could always just get the kitchen knives to the Dibbins and let them protect the walls.
Yes, bag running grub.
Yep.
So chapter 17 begins, and the artwork here is a
Bird
black...
getting hit with an arrow.
Yes.
A bird falling out of the sky with an arrow completely
Right
through it.
Yep.
I
And-
guess it's yeah, it's gonna be Bragg and Cyril, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yep,
So-
definitely.
We're back with Lana Bobiste, and Lana is, you might have wanted given those wounds a day or two more because he's hurting something fierce.
Yeah.
And he runs into
A chiropractor.
yep.
Yeah.
That's literally what I have in my notes. The first chiropractor of Mossflower. A character named Figalock Twigbenda.
Yep.
Okay, we jumped the shark.
I put in my notes here, insert Jeremy comment on weird name here.
We're getting into like dumb Star Wars name territory where there was like a character in that called like Sleaze Bagano. Like, come on. Figalock Twigbenda. Oh my god, is she the last Twigbenda?
Again, let me reference the joke I've already done. Yeah, ding me if you have to. We changed it to Latrine.
Nope, no ding. That joke is still funny.
Yep.
Sure.
So
Well-
yeah, Figalock says like, "Oh, you're in pain. Here, hang on to this branch for an hour." And he's like, "Okay." And then she just like sits on his shoulders. It's
On
like,
his-
or
On his
feet.
paws, right?
Oh yeah, on his feet, and starts using them as a swing. And at first I thought it was a joke, like this is gonna help you, but it's gonna give me a fun time.
And Lana falls off, and he's like, "Get it, help." No, he's fixed.
Yep. And so Lana then joins Figalock at her home with a bunch of other squirrels. And again, I'm kind of reminded of Sunflash with how gentle Lana is around the kids.
Right. And I was just going to comment that these squirrels have their own sort of language that we never really had squirrels have before. It's sort of like I don't want to say like, it seems like a less educated or less polished version of traditional English, which we've only seen with villains so far, I think.
Pygmy shrews.
Well, yeah, pygmy shrews, but I'm just like this particular brand of it, I thought was only like for like the painted ones sort of talk like this. So I thought it was kind of good that he says like not only the villains have trouble with, understandable English sometimes, which is good.
Well, I mean, look at the moles if you want problems with understandable English.
So yes, the squirrels, they show him proper hospitality. They give him food, and he's very, very gentle with the kids. And yeah, these squirrel babes are cute.
Yeah, they're so
Aw.
sad that he doesn't have a mommy.
Yeah. And then a bird
Oh.
comes by.
Yes.
And
They make their home in a bunch of trees that they've kind of woven the branches together to form a platform that can be walked on.
somehow
the main tree-
Lana doesn't destroy it all by stepping on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the weird thing is that the main tree is a three-topped oak. Brian has this really weird obsession with three-topped oaks. I don't know if you've noticed.
This is true. And then a bird shows up, and I think we can summarize this section with, "Hi, random child eating raven. Bye, random child eating raven."
Yep.
Yep. Raven, go bye-bye.
We
Well,
go down the hole.
And the squirrels are ready to take pretty brutal vengeance on the corpse.
To
And
be
it's like-
fair, it did eat a bunch of their kids randomly. So.
I'm not saying that it's not justified, but Lana's just like, hey, can we not burn it so you don't burn down your home?
Kill it with fire. It's already dead. Burn it with fire.
Wait. A bunch of squirrels that don't seem to have contact with the outside world Do you suppose this is where Mr. Squall ran off to?
Ooh,
Oh, I
maybe.
thought you were going to say, are these the descendants of the Gaw tribe?
No, they're not chaotic enough.
It could be A, column A and B there.
There we go.
Mr. Squirrel is a descendant from the Gaw tribe.
So that's where he went. He went to go back to a frat reunion and
Yeah.
never came.
I was going to say he had a midlife crisis, bought like a special acorn car, and is driving around with the top down.
Yes.
So yeah, then Lana says like, I have to go now. My planet
vengeance
needs me. Yep. And Figalock decides to tag along with him as thanks for killing the Raven in less than a page.
Right.
Quote the Raven.
Yep. And chapter 18 begins with what, at least the artwork, could be something straight out of Martin the Warrior. Of various Abbey beasts with hoods on over their heads and tied in a rope. Ooh.
And actually, we do
I
get a
wonder
pretty
who
similar
this
thing.
could be.
We get a pretty similar thing to Martin the Warrior soon.
Yeah.
Brain damage?
Well, no, I was going to say captured by cannibals and forced to eat porridge until they realize, oh dear God, they're cannibals.
Porridge?
Yes.
They're being fed porridge!
They're served Clooney's worst enemy.
But
So
first we find
Horty-
out that Horty sucks at packing supplies.
Yeah.
Horty, Springold,
Sprinkled, yep.
Horty, Springold, and Funna are like, hey, we want to go adventuring too. So they did. And unlike our two older, more practiced beasts with the ones who have the Sword of Martin, they're not very good at it.
Nope.
No.
The food is mushed. They're probably lost and really aren't making a whole lot of progress because they're not used to traveling.
Yeah,
Right.
we get to see all the not good for traveling food be not good for traveling.
Yep.
Who'da thunk?
Yep. And then, but Horty decides to eat it, and I was just like, Horty is literally just eating garbage right now.
Yeah, he's eating mush.
And I'm so glad this is as close to Scarum as Horty ever gets.
Yeah.
This is true. And so they decide to make a little fire, which I'm impressed that, Springold knows how to make a fire, though with their luck so far, she might actually burn the forest down.
That's what I was afraid of when I first read this. I'm like, oh no, she's going to start a fire and it's going to be bad. But no, it didn't.
And then they can't say, well, at least we're not on fire.
Right.
Just dust that joke off and put it away for safekeeping for later.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and they like, hey, we brought stuff for tea, right? Yeah, but we don't have a tea kettle. Oh.
Yep.
And then, just because their luck is really terrible, they get captured.
They do.
By High Captain of the Rat. Darrat.
Yep.
Darrat.
Deret. Yep.
Yep.
Sheltered trio, meet hardship. Hardship, meet the sheltered trio. You all play nice now, you hear?
Yeah, we have what Jeremy kind of already spoiled as cannibal rats. Oh my.
Yep.
And for the record, folks, if you know anything about real rats, yeah, they are totally meat eaters. They're scavengers, but if time and opportunity presents themselves, oh yeah, they'll prey on smaller creatures. So, yeah.
helpless ones. And we then get a good contrast, though, with Bragoon and Saro, who are, having like a little bit of fun and singing, but as soon as they realize that something might be wrong, they get completely serious, be very quiet, and then catch that the others are in trouble and work out a plan to save them.
Yes, and Saro is angry.
Yep. And
She's like, those stupid children.
I simply put in my notes, Bragg and Saro to the rescue. Do you think they're angry?
Which
No,
continues-
duh.
Which will continue throughout this section of the book, and I like how they deal with the three blah, 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 Speaking is hard. They deal with the young trio throughout this section of the book.
That leads us into chapter 19, and we might as well get into this because it's important to address.
How anthropomorphic are they?
How anthropomorphic are they? Well, for the most part, the book is still keeps it coy, but not deliberately so, where they were. We do see a lot of told differences on the different scale of the sizes. Like, Lana is huge.
Yep.
And his bow is 3 times the height of the screw.
His bow is literally a tree.
The squirrel he just befriended.
Yep.
And however, the artwork tends to disagree slightly. For the most part, every chapter save 2 tends to be more on the anthropomorphic side. Chapters 19 and 28, well, I won't say they're almost completely feral, definitely look more like a conventional rat or mouse, as the case is.
Yeah, 19 we have I think that's a rat just like completely knocked out on a table or something with but they are wearing
a shirt but no pants.
Yep. That's all right.
It looks like leaves laid over top of some kind of armored breastplate or something. Looks weird.
Yep. And he's holding a spear that's obviously not doing him very much good right now.
I mean, does a spear do anything useful if you're unconscious?
Well, no, probably not.
Unless you have really good reflexes.
So we meet the head of the Durats, which is Hemper Figlug.
Yep.
Okay.
He has a very amusing voice in the audiobook. It's just very high-pitched and weird.
And Horty I don't think Horty realizes how much danger they're in right now.
No.
I mean, a Redwall, he's Redwall educated, sure. He's not from Salamandastron, but I have a feeling that most creatures would, at least when in this kind of scenario, would know to shut up until you can at least assess what the situation is. But because even our most hated Hare a book or two ago, when he was faced with a pretty serious situation when he was hanging upside down, realized, hey, I should probably shut up.
I think one is more a malicious, it's all about me, I can't shut up, versus Horty who won't shut up.
Yeah, I think he's just kind of riding the high of, hey, we're having an adventure and we can get out of this. It'll be fine. Just like kind of riding the high of first time out on your own. You know, the food wasn't that great, but it was food and that's fine because I'm a hare and everything's great. We'll get out of this.
Yeah, he doesn't get it. And so they're then thrown in a cage and given porridge, which I said, I think we've seen this one before.
Porridge.
Martin and Rose are looking down at me like, oh, this isn't good.
Oh,
and Spriggled and Fenna are like, we could have like a little bit of food, and Horty's just like wolfing the stuff down, and then Springled and Fenna like wait a minute, they called us something glug, and then they called this glug, oh god no.
Yeah.
Glug.
Yeah.
And it's like
glug.
That's Horty just kept repeating that over and over again like an absolute idiot. And
yes.
The rats just keep like Birchaglug, and he's like Birchaglug and Birchaglug, and it's just well, what does this actually mean? And they stop a rat, and it's like that's old Donrot way of saying good. And Horty still doesn't get it. He keeps eating.
Right.
So it's like Birchaglug, more like Birchaglutton.
Right.
Yep, and Horty's just like, well, I'll just keep eating food, and Springled and Fenna are like, we will eat just enough so they don't try to beat us.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And then,
so
of course, Forty comes down with a giant stomachache for eating way too much. The curse of Scarum strikes again.
I do like the spin he tries putting on it. Like, I ate all of it so you didn't have to.
Yes, such a noble creature.
Yeah, stop trying to be noble, you nitwit.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? At least all the food that Horty's eating is not from friendly creatures trying to help them out.
Yes.
True.
So, and then Bragoon and Sarah are on the case after their afternoon nap.
Yep.
And
Because maybe they just want to let the kids sweat it out a little bit more.
yeah. And so, very late at night, Bragoon, the trio sort of realize, like, oh God, we're gonna die.
Yeah, this was
And
pitiful. All of them kind of were like, had tears, and it's like, I want to go home. It's like, oh, you poor stupid kids.
yeah, and Horty even like realized he's like, we really done it now. Like we're in trouble. But then they get a knife, and Bragoon and Sarah are on the case, and get a great moment where they lift up the giant cauldron with a rope and start swinging it, and the vermin are a gong. Yeah, they knock out everybody. They knock out any close Durats with it, including the leader. Which I love the line. The swinging cauldron biffed him on the back of his great fat head.
Yes, I just like the word biff. It's a fun
Yeah.
word.
It is so much fun.
Yep. And so yeah, they run, and Horty is reckless but is brave here, where he tries holding off the entire Durat horde while Fenna and Springold get to safety.
Yeah, and then they're safely out, and he's still fighting. He's like, "This is kind of fun," and then somebody bonks him, and he's like, you missed me."
Yep. And then he falls unconscious.
Yeah.
That was great.
The only
I'm
good
not okay.
Yes. The only good Scarum is an unconscious Scarum.
He's not Scarum. He's not
Yeah.
even Scott.
I know, but I mean, I basically replaced calling Harris Fleet Scuts with Scarums, so
And yep, they're like, okay, well, they'll just haul him off.
And so
So-
they start in the next chapter. They're running, and Bragoon ain't happy.
No.
And Springle like says like, "Oh, I can light a torch," and he goes, "No, one, you'll set the whole forest on fire, and two, they'll fall like they'll catch us." And even when she does, like Springle at least realizes the problem, but Bragoon is just annoyed at this point, and it's like, not much good being sorry. If you would have just stayed put at the Abbey, wouldn't be in this mess. And he's
Yeah.
100% right.
yep. And Fenna's like, well, maybe we can stop. We're free now. And he's like, you think that they're gonna stop and just let us go?
Yeah.
Fenna? It's wonderful that you think you have an opinion, but sweetie, your naivety is showing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we get our rabbit, not hare,
Right.
showing up.
Cosbro.
Cosbro.
He just sounds like so much fun.
I really like Cosbro.
Like, hey, oh, you guys are being chased by the Darets? Yeah, come on in. But not for
Cosbro.
terribly long.
Cosbro. Was his wife named Wandra? Sorry if that reference was fairly odd.
Oh, dear.
Oh, that's terrible.
I don't get it.
Fairly Odd Parents, on the cartoon that thankfully ended on Nickelodeon. I'm the
I'll
only one.
take your word for it.
Noted.
I was-
So Cosbro the rabbit brings him in, and he's like, "Yeah, you can stay, but like I promise, we're only going to stay long enough to, let the hare, not be unconscious." And
Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, Cosbro should just pop up and go, "Hey, cut it out." Cosbro. Okay.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm confused, but that's pretty normal. So
Because we're all referencing old cartoons.
Yeah.
okay.
And Cosbro, he's the last surviving member of like a rabbit clan.
Yeah, this
In
is
the
so
area.
sad. I feel really bad for him.
I'm just kind of surprised when this is all over, they don't say like, "Hey, go to Redwall." It's probably safer at this point.
Yeah.
Although it's not, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. It's theoretically safer.
Yeah. But he's just like, oh, he brings up, oh, I have this poem of how my people, of my
How
people's
they all
history.
died.
And hey, it shows that plague that chased Loamhedge's mice out into Mossflower affected a heck of a lot more than them.
Yeah.
Topical.
Uh-huh.
That
Yes.
I literally have that kind of topical since it's about Loamhedge.
Tried it.
Huh?
Tried
I'm
it.
saying topical to our world.
I was saying
Right.
topical because he was talking about Loamhedge, and it's like, oh, they just happen to be looking for Loamhedge.
And yeah, he talks about, oh, this poem is kind of dark. It's like, hey, silence fell over Loamhedge walls, and lone winds lament the dead. The shadow slayers sent us forth, some south and east, some west and north. And it gets going, and basically blames the plague on vermin who came by because, okay. And it's like, oh yeah, run away, and he name drops Abbas Germain. It's like, well, it's true, the Shadow Slayers will come for you. And basically, it also outlines that Loamhedge during this plague, they didn't waste time. Once it really started to affect them, they got the heck out of Dodge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're also told what these quote-unquote Shadow Slayers, and I'm sure we'll find out in book 3 what they are. Maybe. But
I legit don't remember.
we'll find out.
Yep.
But yeah,
Spoilers.
it's like, oh, Loamhedge, we're looking for that. And I love how they trick the Darettes in going away. At one point, the Darettes are smart enough to find this guy's house, or at least stand on top of it. And the entrance is in a fallen log. And my mind blank. Cosbro's he basically pulls a ventriloquist act and pretends to be one of the Darettes. Like, they're over that way.
Yes. And at one point, the captain like screams at someone for like, well, maybe they're in the log, and the captain's like, "You're an idiot. They're not in a log."
Cosbro says that the Darettes are stupid because they expect rabbits to be in burrows, so they always dig up anything that looks like a burrow. And he's living very much not in a burrow, so
Yep.
hiding in plain sight.
Indeed.
So they're like, okay, well, and to thank him, they give him a flask of cordial. And it's like, okay, we'll travel when the coast is clear. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to end the chapter. Chapter 21 is a mole kid eating out of assumingly a breakfast bowl, and he's filling it all over.
You did. There was one important point at the end of the chapter. Cosbro gave them a lightweight but sturdy climbing rope.
Yes.
And Bragoon yells at Horty at one point because Horty's just kind of shouting and complaining, and Bragoon's like, "Shut up!"
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah. And
Bragoon would have been a good teacher for Scarum. Not that Scarum is teachable or that he would ever listen, but Bragoon would be a good teacher.
I have that in my notes. I said, man, I wish Bragoon had been around to discipline Scarum.
Yes.
You guys just love to hate on one character.
Well, it's like
it was just that bad.
Yeah, and let's be fair, Horty is like the better version of that, and seeing the fact that like Horty is kind of getting the hard knock lesson during this because he has to, makes me wish someone had done that for Scarum. Not that, well, though granted, it wouldn't have done him much good because he was a piece of garbage, but it
Mhm.
would have been nice if
Agreed.
somebody had tried.
So it picks up at Redwall, and apparently no one slept very well with knowing that there's danger right outside, which, okay, understandable.
Yep. And I like Martha, like her kind of panic speech to Martin, where we get a different side of her because we haven't seen her kind of like flustered before. And I like how she is putting she's like, I don't care if I can never walk again. I don't care if they don't, Braga and Sarah have to come back without finding whatever they were supposed to find in Loamhedge. I just want the Abbey and everyone in it to be safe. And I know we would be safe if those two were here.
Mhm.
And there's Martin on the other end, like tuning his radio. Huh? Oh, someone's talking to me? Crap. This is the voice of Martin.
Don't look behind that tapestry. And I like Torin and Formal where they're all talking with the Abbot and Martha. And I really like Torin's line about saying, he's not scared of the vermin horde. He's just afraid of the Abbey dwellers getting hurt.
Yeah.
And there's Formal like, yeah, I'm scared. What are you talking about?
I think that, Torin, to a lesser extent, Formal and the rest of the elders are putting on a brave face for Martha, being that she is younger. Because, I mean, unless there was a previous vermin attack in their lifetime that we don't know about, this is their first time being under attack like this. True, it's from a group of bumbling clowns, but clowns are scary.
They're all it. Yeah, this is true. And like we even see that they don't even have any proper weapons. Like this, even in Marl Fox, when there weren't obviously they had Roosevelt and like a couple of people there that were living at Redwall that were kind of that were warriors. They at least found like some weapons tucked away somewhere, like in the bell tower or something. Whereas in this one, they have to make their own slings at one point. They have nothing. I like how they all go into the kitchens and Abbot Carroll takes charge and even humors the Dibbin vote.
Yep.
That is so cute.
But the Dibbins are busy causing mischief, and Martha's like, I'll take care of this. And for my next trick, I'll make the Dibbins disappear. Bath time!
No. And then outside, we get... Oh my god, this leads to my favorite running gag throughout this section of the book.
Yes, it's glorious.
So Badred has delusions of grandeur right now and is like, I bet the sword that we're trying to get is this solid gold blade and has all these rubies and gems and everything. And I love where he's like, he's just thinking, throw wide your gates, tremble at my name, for I am Badred, commander of a vermin horde. He paused here, wondering if his scruffy little band could constitute a horde. And then his over the top, for did not my father Redblade, warlord of the northern mountains, proclaim it so? Give unto my son Badred his sword. It lies within Redwall.
Yes. And I think it's just like, that's where all his height went. He stopped growing so that his ego could get bigger.
And so Half Chop is like, it gets kicked accidentally. He's like, what do you want me to do, Chief? He's like, go over there and bring my demands. And so he's like, okay, fine, you can take a light with you, like a little torch. So the defenders look down, and Junti's like, he's gonna try and burn down our our doors. I know what to do. And he throws a rock as hard as he can and pegs Half Chop right in the head.
Ouch.
Actually, it was
and he is not okay.
With a ka-chunk when he gets hit. And so Half Chop gets dragged back over, and Badred's like, what happened? And he just looks at him and goes, ka-chunk. And they're like,
Yes.
what? And he looks and goes, ka-chunk.
Good joke.
And my favorite bit right here where he goes, Half Chop leaned close and whispered in the fox's ear, ka-chunk. So I now proclaim Half Chop is now
It
Captain
actually wasn't a
Brain
rock.
Damage.
It was a. Yes. It wasn't a rock though. It was a barrel bung that Junty had carved from the knot of an oak log.
Right. Ka-chunk.
Good joke.
Ka-chunk. I love it too, is they call down to the vermin gang and are like, why are you here? And the only thing they hear back first is Half Chop going, ka-chunk.
Poor guy.
Oh, God.
He makes for the best comedy relief. It's so good.
Oh, my God. And so this is actually the part where he makes this like big statement or whatever. And Badger's like, I'm warlord, blah, 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 blah. And the abbot he goes, I come from the Northlands where we drink our enemies' blood. And then it says, the abbot bowed his head politely. I bid you a good morning, Sir Badred.
Yes. Except
Like,
for in the audiobook, it's just like, Sir Bad Red, like kind of hesitating, like, is this really your name? All right.
I'm just gonna go with that. Sure, whatever.
And the good morning is like, can we be of service to you? Maybe you need food or supplies. And then the rest of his crew are like, hey, they're going to give us food?
Yeah.
Why are we attacking them? They're offering us free food.
Yep.
And Vadrad's like, no, I don't want your food. Like, at that point, someone should have just pulled him into the ditch, and they're like, be with you, Mr. Abbott. 1 second, we just gotta take care of one thing. And then they hear the sounds of Badrad being beaten.
And I love too. So like they drive them off, and then like Grandmom Gerbil came up with a big wooden pail, a big pail of kitchen trash, and they're like, "Hey, Mr. Badred, we do have something for you." He goes, "And what is it?"
Yeah.
Don't
Yes.
trash on him.
So to
I'll be right
summarize-
back. I need to get more water. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
So to
God.
summarize, Badrun goes up. Give me what I want. We don't have that. You lie. Nope, it's the truth. I'll take it by force. Good luck with that. Bye. Come back here and fight me. No. Ah!
I don't wanna. And then he's just like, I don't care how long I gotta wait. They're dead beasts, all of them. They can't treat Bedred like that. Ka-chunk.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I will say, back at the Redwallers, I love Buffle's goofy baby talk too.
Oh, it's so good. Cutest thing in the book.
Yep. And I love how each character like kind of translates for him, and he says like a bunch of things, and Martha turns to the baby Ute. What's he saying now? Buffalo's saying lots of naughty things, and then Settiva just picks him up. He's like, "That's it. You're going in for a nap."
Yeah, Sister Settiva was a no-nonsense shrew nurse and ignored Buffalo's tirade. Ah, you can stop the gobbledygook. I'm no impressed.
Oh God! And so, the next chapter, Bad Red is trying to clean himself off from all the stink, and I love it too. Is they say he's taking a bath. He ain't too pleased, I tell you. 2 baths in 2 seasons is hard on a beast. He only took a bath last spring. This whole crew must smell like week old burnt fish stuffed with moldy mayonnaise.
Oh.
And we even get so far as they outline a song of, apparently this is Vermin Belief of, hey, you'll wash away if you bathe too much.
Yeah, I like that. Is this the first book where like the Vermin gang is constantly singing songs?
I think so.
I know we've gotten like a couple of sea shanties now and then with the sea rats, like Slip and Blaggett had like their "We chopped up this one crew" song, but I feel like Flinky is the first one to really be like consistently singing throughout the story.
Agreed. Not that I'm going to complain. I mean, I love Flinky's songs. They're amazing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, his are my favorite songs in the book.
And as far as the whole bathing thing, I just wrote in my notes, "Hi, Jean. It's a pleasure to see you. You're looking clean today."
But yes, we also get the Abbeys. Also, Abbey also does their own song about the good ship Leaky Lee. You named your ship Leaky.
At least they didn't name it Sinky. I did like the discussion right before this where the abbot goes, Gervil once said I had a voice like a bird, and someone goes, I, a dying duck.
You know, can I pop out there, man? Can I give her some respect? No.
Honestly, after listening to the audiobook version of this song, I want to see Abbott Carroll in the next episode of #Redwall's Got Talent.
Oh god. So they go back to the vermin outside that try breaking into a door on the side behind the abbey, which hey, you know what? This is probably the smartest plan they've had so far, which is let's try and sneak in through another entrance. And as time has told throughout the history of Redwall, this is probably the smartest thing any vermin band can do. So I'm amazed that they figured it out. And they keep trying to open the door. Just the very first thing is Plum goes, "Oh, it should, Chief." And he's like, "Is it now? Thanks for letting me know." "Think nothing of it."
Oh, Plum Nose.
Just Plum Nose and Half Chop are like the comedy duo now. Because Plum Nose keeps talking to him and he keeps going, "Ka-chunk."
Good joke.
So they keep trying. Flinky is like, "Okay, here, give me your cutlass, Bad Red." And they push the door as far as they can. He swings the sword and breaks it on the deadbolt. And starts hopping around, clutching his paws because he hurt himself.
There's blades, and then there's blades. And this isn't much of either.
Oh my god. And then Plumnose just kind of like, after this, just gives the door a light push and goes, "Open!" Ka-chunk. Oh god. I would follow a whole book with this crew, like trying to follow the instructions on how to put together like a chair.
I want to see a whole novel of just them, of trying to get through just a couple of seasons, just like slice of life stuff, like hopping in every like week or so just to get like some kind of update on them, and just see how miserable and terrible their existence is, because it makes me happy.
Here's the new Netflix show.
Yes.
That's called Schadenfreude, boys and girls.
Yeah. Move over. What's it, that show? Tiger King. Now we're going to get Ka-chunk and crew.
Oh god. Oh boy. So, unfortunately, the comedy kind of ends here because they do get inside Redwall.
Yes.
And this is where I was just, when I was reading this, I'm like, you're kidding me, right? We've seen the Abbey get attacked by a number of vermin in the past. And yes, in some books had a literal Badger Ex Machina to save them from the greater consequences. But I'm just sitting here thinking like, wait a minute. Clooney was actually competent, and he spent an entire book trying to get in, and only succeeding. Thank you. My brain went frozen. At the very end, because he basically had to threaten someone to do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then there's this little 8-vermin band with arguably the worst possible leadership, and they're the ones who get in?
These idiots.
I mean, to borrow a Power Rangers reference, this is like Divatox in Power Rangers Turbo destroying the freaking command center. Oh, wait. And if you don't have no idea what I'm talking about, go watch Linkara's very good history of Power Rangers.
Yeah, this is kind of pathetic. Like that, this is the crew that pulls this off really well. I mean, the Marl Foxes got in, but they only got in once they used their actual strengths, which was like their conniving and cunning and sneaking in the shadows. When they actually tried an actual warlike siege, it went poorly because they weren't good at that, and they realized that. But with this crew, it's just like, it's literally the 8 Stooges finding a way in while smacking each other in the face and bonking into walls and breaking things. Oh my god. So,
and there's Clooney in the afterlife. Are you kidding me?
yes, he's like bashing his head against the wall. Like, no. Gray Patch is sitting there like,
How?
And even Slager's like, well, I just lied my way in. This is still... I mean, if I could have done this, it would have made my job so much easier.
Slager did it.
Well, I mean, at least Slagar has the excuse of being voiced by Tim Curry, at least in the animated version. So, I mean, he gets every pass in my book.
By the power of Tim Curry, open your doors.
Pretty much.
So then a lot happens all at once so Torin and Junti have said like, hey, the vermin appear to be gone, but we're not taking any chances. We're going to stay outside and keep an eye on things. And a couple of the Dibbins kind of break free and run into the courtyard, and I think it was Setova and Martha are the ones to go out looking for them.
Yes, and side note, why in the world did they assign Martha the task of keeping track of the Dibbins when the Dibbins sleep upstairs? Martha can't go upstairs.
I thought of that. I didn't write anything down just because it was like, Hades got this one.
It's
I didn't even think about that. There's literally a later chapter in this section where they have to carry her up the stairs.
Right. It is like, did you install a ramp? Did you install an elevator? Oh no, you're just going to give the person in the wheelchair the assignment of keeping track of these babies that can run upstairs. Good job.
Oh god. So Junti and Torin realize that, oh shoot, the vermin are inside. Run. Junti like punches one the heck out, picks up Muggum the Mole Babe, takes 2 arrows to the back, continues running, finally takes a 3rd arrow in the shoulder, and that's when he starts to stumble. Torin helps him get in while Muggum is screaming, and they're all freaking out. They slam the doors, and poor Junti dies.
Yeah, and Martha just kind of cradles him. Yeah.
Which...
I was more sad for the other characters than for Junti's sake. It was a great thing he did. He had maybe like 10 lines before this, so But...
Yeah. Like the most notable thing he did throughout this so far, besides this section obviously, was create the best running gag of the book, which is Peg half chop in the head. And
that is true.
The chunk. But yeah, his actions were phenomenal. Like he went out like a real hero. But yeah, this isn't like if Ambrose Spike was the one to go out, or a character we had gotten to really know throughout the book. Like, I really can't say much about Junti as a character, but all I can say is, darn, man, you went out like a boss.
Yep.
And yeah, then Blinky's like, hey, so we now have strong walls to protect us. The Redwallers are trapped inside their primary building with only limited food and drink. I dear hope they don't have any moles that could tunnel to the orchards and the pond.
General
Asterisk.
Ironbeak is off in the afterlife, like hitting his head against the wall. Like, it's not gonna work.
Oh, that's the thing I just thought of. In Matameo, they mentioned that they had those tunnels like shored up and really fixed so that they could be used in winter, and that
They're not
never comes up
mentioned.
again.
No, they're not even mentioned here.
Yeah, well, let's be fair. Redwaller's not the best at remembering historical things.
Right. Like in Rackety Tam, the book that comes up, I won't spoil anything, but there's a thing that they get. They get a gift from someone. Never mentioned again, ever.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
This is like episodes of Star Trek where they come up with this brand new awesome invention and then it's never mentioned again after that episode.
Yep.
We've developed this new science that allows us to modulate the phase shields, and suddenly it's like, wait, whenever you're using that again? What?
It's in the junk drawer now.
Exactly.
Hilariously, this is the book that references Matameo more than any of the previous books too. So, like, you think they would have they would have gone like, wait a minute, during that time they were under siege by this bird and they made a bunch of tunnels.
Yep.
I will give them one out in that Abbot Carroll was like, seasons of Abbot Mortalphus, wow, that must be as old as the Abbey itself. And it's like, well, A, clearly not. And B, if it's that long ago, I don't think those tunnels have survived unless the moles, lined those tunnels in stone.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
true. But they never come up in any of the previous books either, so I just think Jakes may have forgotten.
Yeah. Oh, well. Well, so we then go off to Jib Snout and the Badger Exterminators.
Yep. I just want to point out this chapter art. We get to see Lana just sitting there looking up at the stars, and his bow is next to him. That bow is about as tall as he is, maybe even a little larger. And Figalock is just a little over a third of that bow's height, meaning a squirrel is about 33 to 40% of the height of this badger. That's a big badger.
We're also told that Jib Snout is quote-unquote casting a jaundiced eye over the three sons of Werga, so he really should see his Vermin HR doc.
Yes, he needs to have an eye appointment stat.
But yeah, our Badger Exterminators, Mulder and Gurley, they're like, we're
Badger Exterminators.
Wise guy.
Yeah, they're trucking out. Each of the three blowpipes was already loaded with a poison dart, and Jib Snout is not kind to his assassins. I don't get what his point is here. He's being asked to do something. Yeah, he's going against a major badger who could very well kill him, but why are you picking on the smaller rats who have deadly assassin poison?
He's not very bright.
No, because one of the or I'm going to call it Mo here, is literally about to kill Jib Snout, and
all of a sudden,
chowder heads.
That arrow wasn't growing out of my chest 2 seconds ago. Just, wow, one of them out of nowhere. Like, you don't even see it coming. Like, it doesn't even mention Lana at all. Like, he's sneaking up. All of a sudden, one of them is just dead with an arrow going through him. Jeez. And Jib Snout's like, oh my god!
And there's Larry and Curly like, nope. And they dash to the sides.
Yep, and Jib Snout gets pinned because another arrow just slams into his foot. And as the third one is about to try and shoot the blowpipe and shoot the dart at Lana, Figalock drops down, blows in the other end, and the dart goes right down the dude's throat.
Yep. Poison darts always backfire in this series.
Yeah.
Always.
Oh, and then Figalock takes the blowpipe and the darts, and he's like, no, and she's like, no birds will mess with my tribe ever again. Like, all right.
Put down the blowpipe. Very carefully.
And Lana at this point is also in full-on blood wrath.
Yeah, and he charges
And
off.
but he's got the presence of the mind to step down. He's like, well, I still gotta kill the remaining stooge. What was his name? Curly? Yeah.
Red shirt.
Yeah. And Fix-a-Lot's like, hey, what are you gonna do with this one? What am I gonna do with this one?
Lana bandages up his foot, and glares at him and goes, I know who all of you are, and I have a particular set of skills that make me a nightmare to vermin like you. Let Ragabol know. I will look for him. I will find him, and I will put 18 arrows through his windpipe.
That's awfully specific. Do you really need to use 18?
Now it's
17
19.
is-
I mean, I'm not complaining. He's a terrible boss.
Well, 17 is too few, and 19 is kind of overkill.
Yeah.
But no, he's basically like, tell your boss I'm coming for him. Oh, and I promise I'll kill you last.
Remember when I said I'd kill you last? Yeah, I lied. So Jibs now runs away, leaving a liquidy trail behind him.
The blood from his wound, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That's what it is. And so Lotta's like, "Go ahead, Fix-a-Lot, go home," and goes off to try to find the last son of Wurga. And I love this point where he comes across a few Durats, and they're like, "Ooh, a badger! Let's bye, Durats." he just charges through them, beats the living hell out of them, and then runs away and leaves them lying there like, what the heck just happened?
And the Darets are all like, we're not going to tell anyone about this, right? No. No, we're not.
Yep. And then he finds the last badger exterminator and exterminates him.
Yep.
And you know what? We can tell Wurga is definitely not a good seer because she really should have seen this coming.
Yes.
So, yep, that didn't last very long. So, moral of the story, don't send poisoners to try to take out badgers. It never ends well.
Yes.
Oh, so back to our other crew.
Yep.
And I like the little notes with Bragoon, Saro, and the trio where Springald and Fenna are trying to learn from the elders. And we actually get a good moment too, where as they're walking, kind of like listening, Fenna plays possum. Like goes like, "Ow, my foot paw!" And then as everyone crowds around her, she's like, "There's someone following us."
Yes.
Like,
Don't look.
good job. Like, wow, that's really cool. Like, I'm very impressed by that.
She learns fast.
Yeah. Springald does not because she immediately stands up and looks, but
Well, she tries to, but then Sarah pushes her head down.
it's like, stop it.
What part of don't look makes you think, oh, I should look?
Yeah. And Horty actually, shows that he cares about people, unlike a certain other hair. He is like, hey, I'm going to be, does something brave and a little bit foolish. He offers to be the decoy and lead the rats away, saying that there's no way they can catch, a running hare, which we do see that a lot in this series where the hare is like, I'm going to mess with them.
Yep. Okay, so what's your plan for getting past these guys? Live bait. Good idea. Hey!
What was that from again?
Lion King.
Oh, right.
Yes.
So
Actually,
Horty's
it
gonna
would be
do the
really
hula.
entertaining to watch Horty, Justin Dragon do the hula.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
Yep.
the whole plan is that Horty's going to run one way, the other's going to run the other, and they'll meet up in the cave.
Yep.
Yes, and he's got some brush tied to his tail, so it looks like there's more people running because of the dust cloud.
Yep, which is actually pretty smart.
Yep.
And I like the beginning of the next chapter with the descriptions of the rain, of like how it's changing the area, like turning the dry dirt into mud, and I thought this was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Horty leads him on a merry chase.
Yes, and I do appreciate, not to keep bringing up Scarum, but as like a comparison, he runs and then he insults them, and then they're insulted by the insult. Who would have thought? And they speed up, and he scolds himself right away. He's like, "Yeah, that was dumb. Nope, that was stupid. Shouldn't have done that." And when Scarum does the same thing, he does not have that much self-reflection.
Yeah,
I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
And I do love this bit where it's where they're like, "Well, he's not here soon. We can just make a fire and cook some food. He'll show up then." Like, yeah, that's a fair statement. But would you really want to set I mean, you better, if it's in a fire in a cave, you better do it away, so where it's obvious, because you don't want to send up a signal flare and draw vermin in, right, Luke? Oh.
Well, I think doesn't like Bragoon or Saro say not to light a fire for that very reason.
Yeah.
And I do like how Saro does kind of reassure them, like, I'm sure he'll, like, they won't be able to catch him. He's too quick, like, he's too wild. And I think that might be a way of her seeing, like, some of her younger self in him, like, this kind of, like, you know, inexperienced character, but, like, inexperienced person, but someone who just really is not easily caught.
Mm-hmm.
And then we immediately cut to Horty, and he's starting to slow down, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm sure Horty's fine. I'm not fine.
Yeah.
And then Lana Ex Machina.
Yeah,
well,
exactly
I'm
what I
say,
wrote in my
he gets
notes.
trapped. He gets trapped, and then, all right, guys, just give me a minute. I promise I won't run away. Oh yeah, let me believe that. Hey guys, what's that?
Does that look like a big giant, a big mean badger to you? Oh my god!
And we're told that basically the wet sand is pushed over by Lana, burying everybody, and he just literally grabs Horty by his ears.
Yep.
Ouch.
Ow. And he carries Horty away like, all right, this is mine now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a badger. I get double. Isn't this what we usually do?
Yep. You are now my warrior hare.
Yep. Maybe this is why hares serve badger lords. Badgers always show up to save foolish hares in the last minute. So it's just like, better to say, I'm going to serve you, but you're responsible for me. That way, it's guaranteed that they show up at the very last minute when they're needed most.
There you go.
I guarantee it.
Nice.
So yes, back at Redwall, the Dibbins are the only ones who are allowed to sleep upstairs, while the adults are taking they're doing shifts to make sure the barricades are guarded.
Yep.
And they also bury Junti underneath Cavern Hole, effectively.
Yep.
Oh, it's sad.
Yeah.
Oh, and apparently the vermin are breaking the windows because they always do this when they invade.
They're bored. And Badred actually, I like how it says the Badred was the small fox was in his element, and I was like, what element? Like, what? So Badred actually comes up with a decent plan, which is, hey, Flinky, you and Crinktail grab some food and go try to bribe some other vermin to come help us. Okay, that is not a bad plan.
No.
Granted, it was Clooney's immediate plan when he took up residence in St. Ninian's church.
Yes.
Though granted, his was more, come help me or I'll stab you. But, no, not a bad plan. And he's like, and he decides to keep throwing rocks, and we get a great moment where Half Chop loads his sling with an apple he had been eating.
Yeah.
Oh, someone get him to a vermin hospital. That poor guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how can he even eat an apple? That would hurt so bad. His whole mouth is messed up.
Ka-chomp, ka-chomp.
And
Uh,
then Badred comes in. He's like, "Well, why are you stopping slinging? Keep going." It's like, "We've been doing this all night. We're getting tired. We're hungry." And he's like, "You have to keep at it. It's easy. Here, watch me." And he starts doing it absolutely terribly, but with
Yes.
all the gusto and fervor of somebody who's way too sincere. And at that point, all I could think of was, Badred might not be that bright, but at least he's not clever.
Which isn't one of the rocks he throws bounce off the wall and hit him?
Yes, it does.
Pretty much, yeah.
God. It's like, hey guys, maybe if you just stay holed up in the abbey long enough, they'll kill themselves on accident. Oh God. So, yep, they're Redwall Siege Day 2. Duh!
No, Redwall Siege Day 2. Ka-chunk! And
Oh.
in the next chapter, I love this chapter art because seeing it makes me so happy. Funniest moment in the book, I think, after Ka-chunk, and probably in my top 10 funniest moments in the whole series.
Is it because of the pun that's also used when they do the attack?
Yes,
And
it's everything. It's all just beautiful.
So yeah, Martha, she's had enough and she's not gonna take it anymore, and she does like this good rallying cry to get everyone pumped up and ready to go, and they're like, to the dormitory, and they'll charge in the dormitory, and the Dibbins start freaking out.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. Oh God.
And the Dibbins are like, you should know the Dibbins are looking at each other like, hey guys, do we need to like do the Dibbins Against Bedtime takeover again? The adults are kind of going nuts.
Oh gosh. So yeah, they start working on putting together slings and getting rubble and dirt so that just in case Badred's crew thinks to burn the doors down, which I don't think they're smart enough to try that.
I mean, if you don't want to burn down your brand new house, so yeah. Here's my question though: Redwall has had a small cache of weapons for emergencies. Where is it?
Yes, because that was the thing in Marvel Fox. Like they had it in the bell tower, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like that really shows like what these guys are really not prepared for anything.
Or going all the way back to Bellmaker, or no, Salamandrostron, when Semkin was practicing his archery and on a weapon that really should have been locked up. But that's the point. There was a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to just go out on a limb and say it's been so long since the last vermin attack on the Abbey that they're basically like, we don't need this. Or the other option is Skipper and his crew took part of the arsenal when they went off to the Hullabaloo.
There's also another explanation. They forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Brian forgot?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yep. So, yeah, they put all this together, and but then a new weapon comes into play. Grandmom Gervel brings in this big bag of hot pepper, and Martha's like, "Ooh, I have an idea. Everyone get little bags."
Yep, actually one of the Divins is like, we should throw this at the vermin, and then Sister Son of is like, that's ridiculous.
Oh, it's Buffle. It's baby Buffle.
Yes.
He's just the best. Not only is he hilarious, but he provides probably my favorite solution to this vermin problem.
And yep. So they Badred and the idiots coming to an abbey near you try to make another statement like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. Just let me in. I'll take your magic sword that you've told me repeatedly that doesn't exist. And I'll take some other valuable things, which you probably don't have any of. And then we'll leave. And they're like, no.
Yeah.
And Carol's like, let me make you a suggestion. Get out. Take the fruit you stole, because I know you did, and go. Try some of the strawberries.
They're magic.
And so Bad Red has one of his two competent guys like try to shoot Abbot Carroll with an arrow, but Carroll sneezes, and so the arrow goes above him and misses. And so then Torrin appears and goes, sneeze on this, snotty nose. and peg him in the face with 2 bags of the hot pepper. And what probably one of the best lines in the book, can't blame me for this one, literally peppered by bags of the stuff,
Yes.
the vermin crew fled. Spitting, sneezing, and rubbing at their burning eyes as the fierce hot root pepper did its work.
Didn't those vermin's mothers ever warn them about the dangers of using hot root pepper? Hot root pepper. Not even once.
Nope. This is your vermin crew. This is your vermin crew on hot pepper.
Exactly.
So they failed miserably. But at least for them, they're not Flinky and Crinktail at the moment.
Yeah.
Who, at first, they're like, we could just not go back. And they're both thinking, like, we could just take this food and leave and not go back and not be stupid. And, oh, hi, Sea Rat crew.
Yep.
Yep, our plot's emerging.
Yep. And Ragabole talks to them, and he's like, tell me why I shouldn't kill you. And Flinky just screams out, like, riches and magic swords and lions and tigers and bears, oh my! And you know what? Groveling suits them quite well. And so Raga goes, here, you're going to have a drink with me. Seaweed and fish head grog.
Delicious.
Oh,
Gross.
I don't feel so good.
Yep. And Flinky is tripping acorns after drinking this concoction. And one of my favorite lines, he calls him Bragger Roll.
Yes.
Actually, that was Crinktail.
That was Crinktail, yeah.
Mr. Bragger Roll.
Listen to you.
What badgers? We ain't seen no striped dogs around here. Don't worry, Bracker Roll. We'll find them all for you. Me and Flinky.
Flinky's like, I see dead badgers. This stuff is great. So Raga tells everyone to pack up and like, all right, we're gonna go to Redwall. And Jib Snout is back. And Raga's
Hey,
like,
boss,
so what happened?
have you? First of all, where's Wurga? Oh no, she's back there. Don't worry. Why? What do you ask? Her sons are kind of
They got a
dead.
case of death.
Oh. Oh. Well. Hey. Well, that's not bad news. I did take out company life insurance policies on them, so win-win. But
Raga's
is the
like,
badger dead?
Yeah.
No.
He has a case of not dead.
And why are you alive? He let me go.
And then he said he's gonna come and kill us all, and so I just kind of have I'm not gonna be alive much longer. And Raga goes, "You're very right." Stab.
Yeah, it's
Huh.
a lot more chilling the way he does it. He's like, well, we're going to go to an abbey and it'll be full of nice food and treasure. Won't that be nice? And he's just kind of soothing him. It's like, you won't tell anybody, right? He's like, no, I won't. He's like, you're right. Yeah, it's like, whoa, that took a turn.
Wurga, hi. So I was just taking a vengeance for your sons from their incompetent leadership. They're dead, aren't they?
Wurga will be like, "What happened to my sons? You're the seer. You figure it out."
Yes.
And it seems my R.I.P. Jib Snout was justified, just not in the right place.
Yeah. Oh God. It just like it comes back. So Jib Snout, where are Werga's sons? Dead. Where's the Badger? Alive. So the mission failed.
Yes.
Oh God. Well, then speaking of Lana, in the next
Hey
chapter.
guys, I found your hair.
Thump.
Is this yours? I found it out wandering around all by itself off the leash. Very irresponsible.
His tag says Redwall. So
also
Lana
says-
then is like, I'm gonna build a fire, and they're thinking maybe we should have a fire to alert them. And Lana goes, hang on a second. Anyone who wants to come attack us, I'm here. And they're like, okay. We're
Don't
okay
mess with the
now."
crazy badger. Got it.
Yeah, he probably scared the living heck out of everything that lives in the immediate area.
Wait a minute, if he's saying this inside the cave, it's his voice is probably echoed, and everybody's like, "What?"
Kind of like the shouting cage, cave from
In Mossflower.
Yeah, Mossflower.
Never used again.
Mhm.
Yeah, everyone's probably just their ears are ringing.
Yep.
I also like the whole bit where that Springold's like, "You didn't eat those rats, do you?" Lana's just like, "No, I didn't eat the rats, but I didn't eat those rats."
Well, he said I would rather eat like 4-season-old dead toads than the rats.
Oh, I mean,
Gross.
I'm just pointing out he did bite off his hated enemy's paw, so.
Oh yeah, this is true.
He did. I just don't think he was thinking about food at that moment. I just think
No,
he was
no.
like, rah!
That's why I was
He was
like
thinking
saying,
of grievous bodily harm more than anything else.
It's like I can't use my paws. Rah! Yeah, and Horty wakes up and happily eats, and you know what? Eat up, Horty. You earned it.
Yeah.
I also realized something in this chapter. The Darats, or the Darat rats, Darat rats, all rats rat. It looks like they have the same tribal ego as a lot of other monospecies clans or hordes. Just like, we're the rats rat. We're that awesome.
We're the rats.
Oh dear.
Where did you come from? The woods.
Woods. The bears. So we get a nice little moment with Bragoon and Lana staying up to guard the cave, and Lana admiring the sword, which we get a hint that Martin might be calling Lana to go help Redwall.
it's
Yeah.
like, and I can imagine Martin's there. He's picking up the otherworldly phone and dialing the number, like, and Rose is like, "Wait a minute, what are you spending this? What are you spending our long distance credits on?"
The sword vibrates. You have a collect call from Martin the Warrior. Will you accept it? Actually, no, because he'd be saving money. So it's, you have a collect call from Go Help Redwall. Do you accept the charges?
Or is Matthias? Go ahead, Matthias. This is your joke.
Martin Express, for when you need exposition, fast.
And Golf isn't around to make it into a poem. So
Oh God. And yeah, so they wake up they all go to sleep, and in the morning they realize Lana is gone. And as Sarah puts it, Lana just kind of stared at the sword, and then got up and left. And like we said, Martin did the collect call to the sword through the sword, and they're off. And it's actually, you know what? Horty immediately complaining about being thirsty when they say that you can't drink right now. Actually, quite a normal thing. It's like it's something you don't think of until someone tells you you can't do something,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden then it's like in your head.
Mm-hmm.
It's the exact same thing when you're a kid going on vacation with your family, and it's like, okay, does anyone need to use the bathroom? Because we're leaving now. And then within like 20 minutes, half an hour, I need to go to the bathroom.
Yep.
Exactly. Never fails.
Yep. And Horty then starts singing about drinks. Because, well, to be fair, this is a consistent hair thing of singing about food when you're hungry and things like that. And then Sarah was like, enough, just let him drink. And I do like how, oh God, but Bragoon continues like the School of Hard Knocks with Horty because Horty tries to drink a little bit more, and he's like, "No," and grabs him by the tail and goes, "One more word, you'll be wearing this as a bauble twixt your ears."
Yeah.
It's
God, I
And,
wish
not-
Bragoon had been around it for Scarum.
And good idea, mate. He's like, I'll measure our drinks out so nobody gets any less or more than the others.
Yes.
exactly. Because not only is Horty a near bottomless pit of hunger, not bottomless because, well, he did get a stomach ache, but he's now also an unquenchable sponge of thirst. And it's like, you're not doing yourself any services, bro. You need to chill.
He needs
And
better constitution rolls.
yeah. I think one of the things like if you look at this, Bragoon and Saro are probably being extra strict because one, they know the danger that they're in and that these three need to learn. And two, I bet Horty reminds them too much of how they used to be.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I would venture also three that they were originally given enough rations and supplies for two that are now being shared amongst five.
This is true.
So we haven't been told that they've resupplied anywhere, so it's like they're going not only into a desert, but they're going into a desert with less supplies than they were supposed to have to begin with.
Yep.
Yep.
And they obviously were not able to salvage any of the stuff that Horty's crew brought with them.
No. That just leads us into chapter 27, which has very funny but also very odd chapter art. It's our two villain chieftains coming to a head, and we can see who clearly is going to be the winner here. But Bull, I mean, don't get me wrong, he looks intimidating, but he also looks a little odd. We see the hook that, when his hand got bitten off earlier.
Yep.
And then, but his other arm, I mean, it's either too short or it something is wrong about the paw where it ends. It just doesn't look like a paw.
Well, he is gripping the sword, like the broken sword, but you're right, it does look a little short. It's like if you're going off of that's the end of that arm, if you're going off of where the hook is on the other arm, the sleeve looks like it ends way later than the sleeve on his right arm.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that has to do with the fact that you can't see
Matthias, you broke up.
where the placement of the shoulder is, so it makes. Oh, sorry. It's the left shoulder. You can't see where the arm begins, so it makes the right arm look a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
And then we also have what looks like our Mr. Bad Red. Probably.
Don't hurt me.
Yeah. he needs to change his shorts.
About what we expect Vitch to look like.
Oh yeah. Please don't hurt me. Which I do have to point out though, your half chop is evolving. Your half chop has evolved from Kachunk to Kachoob.
I really hope that's not. I really hope you can't hear that.
What?
Nope, there it is.
What?
Ice cream man outside my door.
Oh, yes.
Now I can hear ice cream! Yay!
We went from trains to that, so
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Well, at least I like the ice cream truck better because that says to me, hey, there's ice cream. Everybody loves ice cream, except for the people who don't, but we don't talk about them.
They don't count. That's like extra evil. So
Bad Red and his vermin have commandeered the gatehouse, and in the middle of this downpour because they're still sneezing out the hot root.
I'll go out in the rain and lay down and let the rainwater clear my nude. I don't mind wash it out. Ka-choob!
Yep. So Abby, basically the Abbeys are like the Abbey Joys are kind of in a pretty brave action. They're like, okay, so we have about 40 adults who are going to storm the gatehouse. We're going to make an end to this. And if there's only 8 of them, why didn't you do this earlier? But they're right when the Redwallers are about like, okay, get angry. We're gonna totally do this. Rawr! Hey guys, there's sea rats. Huh?
A lot of
like
sea rats.
There's like 40 more. Oh, whoa. I mean, you're a little outnumbered, but not terribly so. But no, they're like, oh man.
Yep. And
what do we do now?
They're in actual danger now because unlike Badred's band of idiots, Raga's crew is experienced in just mass killing.
And meanwhile, Ragabull's like, hey, which one's Bad Red? And everyone, I can just imagine everyone's like, they point at the fox.
Well, he's actually asleep in the gatehouse, so I think they're just pointing towards the gatehouse, being like, in there.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, he did pick up Plum Nose, and he's like, see the big bad warrior, huh? And he goes, not me. Badger isn't there. He did it. and
that gives me an idea. Maybe they shouldn't be keeping the Abbey records in the gatehouse on the off chance that vermin breach the walls, because having both Badred and Ragaball in the gatehouse at the same time, making me very nervous about those Abbey records.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they could use it to find like the blueprints for it, which, granted, I don't think Badred would be able to understand the blueprints, but yeah,
Two, I don't think those records survived. Those were probably long gone.
Yeah. So
the dust has them now.
Yeah, Ragabull basically picks the little fox up and shakes him like a rag doll. Are you Bad Red? Yes. Well, ain't that nice? Say hello to our new captain, Buckos, and yeah, Ragabull's and Bad Red's own crews are laughing at him. Oh.
Yep. And I love he holds the broken cutlass. He goes, "Does your mama know you've been playing with this? Dearie me, you could cut yourself."
Yes.
Wow.
Let's just cut to the chase. You want the horde, you want the leadership, it's yours. I won't get in your way, okay? And I certainly won't kill you in a comedy of errors where I assume the command. Yeah. Right, guys?
Petra's like, all right, Mr. Raga, I'll do whatever you want. Please don't hurt me.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's in my mind.
Yeah. And so Raga's like, all right, you want to live? Go catch me and cook me a fish perfectly by tomorrow morning with one of my guys whipping you randomly if you don't do it right.
Can I use your air fryer? No.
I almost feel bad for him, but not quite.
Yeah.
How about an Instant Pot? Can I use an Instant Pot?
I'll instantly put you in the pot. Okay.
Besides, no electricity.
Yep.
Darn.
And so now the Redwaller's like, well, this is not good. So they've now changed it from we're going to go in there and take them out to we're going to stay in here and not let them in.
Yep.
And I do like Torin saying, like, we might have to just hold out until Skipper's crew shows up.
Oh, that's going to be autumn. Yep.
And it is, honestly, like, it's not, I don't know if it's intended, but it's kind of a callback to Tagarung where they were trying to do just that, waiting for Skipper's crew. And the main reason why Skipper's crew showed up when they did was because Boobrab ran off and found them.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, the Abbey's going to have plenty of food within their own larders to last this out, but water is going to be a problem.
Yep.
And like I said, gee, I wonder if there are tunnels out of Cavern Hole that would go right to the pond.
I was going to say, wait, don't they have like some sort of well in the basement now?
Do they?
I thought they did.
Wasn't that Salamandastron?
No, I thought that. Oh wait, never mind. I may have spoiled something. Ignore me.
Well,
Spoilers!
Smoke
Yeah.
bomb.
and we get for this, second time in this series, Devin celebrating that no one can be bathed. Oh, that's gonna get rank.
This place is gonna stink.
And
yeah,
normal
and
world suggests, perhaps tunneling out, and everybody's like, yeah. And then Abbott Carroll's like, well, that's good for you, but I need to stay here as Abbott. And Torrance like, well, if you're staying, I'm staying because I'm the cook. And then Martha's like, no, I'm staying too. And everybody's like, yeah, we're staying. And formal world must be like, oh, stand on my tunnel.
Yeah.
yeah.
Gee, guys, maybe we should leave and go to that mountain place and get help. No. Who's ever thought of doing that before?
Yeah. And Carol does help Formal feel better, but he's like, no, it was a smart idea. Like, don't feel foolish for suggesting it.
Yeah.
We're
He's a
all
good
too
Abbott.
stubborn to stay, to not leave. And yeah, so now Raga is there, and I think we mentioned this before we started recording, which was, it's like he's just sort of showed up, and he's like, yeah, I guess I'll do this now.
Pretty much.
Yeah, like we've had, Clooney was the terror across the land. Slagar went there with a specific purpose and specifically said he didn't want to take over the place because he thought it was haunted. Damug was like, I have a horde of 1,000. I'm not going anywhere near Salamandastron, so you're my next target. And Raga's like, nice place. Think I'll take it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
What's the
And
mortgage
there's-
on this location?
And then there's Clooney like, fressing.
Clooney Yosemite Sam.
Yes.
Ooh, I hate that warrior mouse.
But the thing is, at this point in the narrative, if Jakes had been sticking to his standard formula, you'd have Ragavol getting nightmares, and he's not having enough nightmares. I think Doctors Martin and Lana need to prescribe him 2 bouts of disturbing visions and call them in the morning.
Yeah, he had a vision from Lana for a little bit. So I think he's due for 50.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lana needs to go pay into his Seer Plus membership.
His auto pay ran out.
Oops. Credit card expired. Hate when that happens.
Lana's having problems with his PayPal account.
Darn it.
Yep. So then we go into chapter 28, which is we're getting more of the experience gap between Bragan and Saro and the younger trio.
Yeah,
And
the
go ahead.
the School of Hard Knocks lessons plan is not as easy as our 3 would-be adventurers thought it would be.
Yeah.
And we've definitely had the Redwallers who leave and kind of long for home, like Roof and Bellmaker. Dury was kind of that Mariel Redwall, but it's like these 3 are like realize we've made a mistake,
Mm-hmm.
and they had good intentions. They had the best of intentions, but they're now realizing what they were told before they left was absolutely true. They were not ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
And they're now, what I think we forgot to mention at the end of the last chapter with them, all their stuff is gone. Someone stole their stuff.
Oh, did we
Huh.
skip over that?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
we-
we did.
Yeah. So
I,
they wake up and found out all their food and drink was stolen. And they're like, well, we just have to keep moving, and we'll have to just keep an eye out for whoever did it and try and find some water.
Yep.
Yeah, I put in my notes, we got the landlubber equivalent of shipwrecking and losing all your provisions.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. This is very bleak. I would not be happy either if I were one of these poor little children.
Yep.
It's like, this is not what I signed up for. I really didn't know what I was signing up for, but I thought it'd be fun.
I signed up for I signed up for Legend of Zelda, not a survival game.
I wanted Zelda, not Minecraft, and I can't craft to save my life.
I signed up for Super Mario Brothers, not Dark Souls. So, yeah, they then mention, is there's like some shaking or they notice something. Bragoon and Sarah said, like, maybe it's kind of like when the earth was dancing. And that's a nice callback to the earthquakes that were referenced and actually happened in Matameo.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the trio is like, no, you're joking about that, right? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I want my mommy. Wait, I'm an orphan because I'm a Redwall character. I don't have a mommy.
Ah,
So they then find out they're being chased by gerbil rats.
okay, let's just be honest. They're gerbils.
Yeah, this is our
Based on
first
the
appearance of
description,
gerbils.
the description given, these are gerbils.
Yep.
We had a hamster in the last book, and now we have a gerbil.
Cool.
Except it's spelled with a J for some reason.
Well,
They're dumb.
Gerbil rats. Why did it have to be gerbil rats?
And they keep mentioning, you know, how they're thirsty. And so Horty starts singing. Horty, singing makes you thirstier.
yes, but it is a fun song.
This is true. And Fenna and Springold try kind of joining in.
He's
And
also insulting the gerbil rats while doing so.
Yeah.
And then one of the gerbil rats gets carried off by a bird.
Yeah, leading to my other thing where talk about the how anthropomorphic. Chapter 28's art is almost straight up feral. The only thing that might indicate that it's not, just a regular gerbil is that he's seemingly wearing some kind of clothes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
So they
this-
capture one of these guys, and I just think it's funny that Sarah just slaps him around. She's like, "Nope, you're helping us find water," and he calls her a name, and she like knocks him down. He's like, "Oh, every time you insult me, you fall over."
It's like, if you say something helpful, you won't fall over. Get how it works?
Sarah is that one teacher we all had who took no nonsense and ran a tight ship classroom.
Yep.
Yes, Miss Sarah. Sorry, Miss Sarah.
Yeah.
Don't give me detention. And then poor Fenna passes out.
Yep.
And so Bragoon realizes how bad things are and says, like, okay, Horty and I are going to go find water. You three wait here. If we don't come back, you'll know why.
Yep.
And it's like, oh God, that's okay.
Yep.
Yep. And so the two of them find, more reptiles.
They're friendly, right?
Oh.
Sure, let's go with that.
Yep.
Okay.
And, well, it doesn't go well for them because Bragoon's like, look, we just need some water. And they're like, this is our water. You can't have it. Gives the shiny sword and maybe we'll give you some stuff. And Bragoon's like, all right, I can't take this anymore. I'm done. Hands Horty the sword. So he doesn't need the sword for this. Runs in and just beats the living heck out of he's outnumbered 6-1 and just beats up everybody, grabs this grass snake, starts using it as a flail, and then almost strangles one of the lizards with the snake.
Yes.
Like, wow. And Horty's just standing like, oh my God.
Yeah. And I love this. Dusting off his paws and breathing heavily, Bragoon took the sword from the astonished young hare, putting the sword point at the lizard. Putting the sword point at the lizard? I don't know. That doesn't read right to me. He growled, "In the future, mind your manners and be polite to visitors."
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Otter, sir. Bragoon is my new favorite otter.
Yeah, that was so good. Like, he's like, that's it. I'm done. So are these guys. Oh, and so, yep, they get water. They get some cooked. They take the cooked fish from these guys, because heck yeah, they do.
Yep.
And they get back to the shelter, and it's deserted.
Uh-oh.
And guess what? It's the end of the book. Cliffhanger.
Bum, bum, bum. Yeah. And that's going to end us for book 2. So yeah, this is still a pretty compelling story, even if we have the worst possible vermins break into Redwall.
Yeah. Failing upward.
Task failed successfully.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
And
there's
I'm still
successful
wondering,
failures.
again, I know why the Redwallers chose not to send a runner to Salamandastron, but
They don't really have anyone that could do that, really.
no.
Mhm.
It's like the only real young character is Martha, and nothing against Martha. She's not going to be able to make that trip.
No.
No. But I did like how she took the initiative and she like had some real agency going on here where she's like, we're not going to let these vermin defeat us. And then with the help of Buffle, she uh, fixed up the little pepper things. And she was it says she was like everywhere at once. She was kind of going around and being like, let's put this soup over here. Let's construct this rubble over here. Just like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, taking charge, getting things done. I really
Yep.
like that.
Yeah, I liked this, and we get good cliffhanger bits with Raga, however it's pronounced, showing up at Redwall. Lana has disappeared into the wind. I think we all know where he's going. And
Salamandastron?
sure,
Oh
let's
yes,
go
of
with
course.
that. No, Brock Hall.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
He wants to clean out the skeletons of those serpents.
Yeah.
Reclaim his ancestral home. Sure, yeah.
Yep.
And Bragoon and Horty are like, we got water. Where is everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to part 3. Seeing because I will say because it's been a long time since it's at least been a while since I read this one, and I don't remember a whole lot about it at times. There's an event that apparently happens in book 3 that I totally thought happened in book 2.
Aha.
And
Well, spoilers.
I'm not. Yeah, no, I was just about to say I'm not going to say what it was because I don't want anyone listening who hasn't read it to know, and I don't want Pete to know because I know he hasn't read this.
Well, you're doing better than me because I totally did spoil something that happens either in later books or later in this book. But it wasn't a very major spoiler, like a character dies. So I think I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember deaths. I'm just saying there was something that I thought happened in this section that apparently happens in the next section. And that's all I shall say.
Aha.
And I really liked a lot of the development we saw the characters go through. Even when they were suffering, it was still done in an entertaining manner. It's not like oh yes, and they suffered, and here, let me tell you all about their suffering. No, it was mostly just well, this is a pretty bad spot to be in. Quite right, I agree.
Yeah.
So the tense moments were appropriately tense. Not a lot of sad emotional moments outside of Junti, and as we talked about, not as strong of an emotional moment because he didn't have a lot of character development. So other than the tense moments, it was mostly humorous moments, and those humorous moments were fantastic.
Oh.
Yeah. I will agree with that.
I think this might be the funniest section of the book.
Yes. I mean, between the pepper bombs and ka-chunk, it's just, we could get a ton of mileage out of ka-chunk.
Yep.
I mean, if only we had this book earlier in the podcast's history, we could have been using ka-chunk for a while now.
Oh yeah. Well, we will have it for the rest of this book and for books to come. And oh my god,
Well, I can promise you can use it for the next book we're covering. Speaking
Alright.
of which, if it isn't already up, if you haven't listened to our show when it comes around October every year, we tend to take a brief pause from Redwall material and cover Brian's other books. Last 2 years, we've done the Seven Strange and Ghostly Tales, which was fun. Last year, we did Castaways of the Flying Dutchman. This year, we're doing Castaways of the Flying Dutchman, Book 2. And I think that's called The Angel's Command.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
And we'll do that same as we always do. 2 weeks, 2 week difference between the episodes. I'm not doing what we did last October, doing an episode every week.
Oh god, yeah, no, we're not doing that. And we'll be
man.
splitting the book up more evenly than we did last time. I apologize again for that.
And yeah, we'll go Castaways Book 2. Now, we'll see where we are after that to see if we want to pull another book before the end of the year. But at the very least, folks, before the year ends, you'll get a winter food.
But yeah, so next time we're going to be book 3 of Loamhedge.
Mm-hmm. So Jeremy, where can they find us?
You can find us at recorderonthewall.com. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, all your favorite podcast places. And you can also check us out. We are featured on the R Eulelia subreddit. We are featured on the official Redwall forum. We have a Twitter account at ROTWpod. So if you want to communicate with us, we put out random announcements on there. And by we, I mean Pete, because I sent one tweet once and it took me over 10 minutes, and I'm never doing that again. And you can also email us at which is rotwpod@gmail.com. So
Jeremy, you brought us in after all.
Yep. All right. So until next time, I'm Kachunkami.
I'm Pete.
I'm Katie.
I'm Matthias, and please, Jeremy, do not bring Scaremy back.
That's
I'm
a good
scarred
place to
for
end.
life.